Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with designated drinker, celebrity chef Christain Gill. So if you've missed part 1, you know you're going to want to go back, belly back up to that bar, and give that a listen first. We promise we're going to save a seat right here for you. So in part 1, Christain, we talked a little bit about your family, a lot about guys' grocery games, and about how performing is in your blood, just like cooking. And since we left off on part 1 talking about Gina's vibrator, let's get spicy, shall we?
No, we were talking about my eggs. We were talking about my vibrator. That would be something blue, okay? Got to keep it weird.
Blue?
No fucking flesh tones here.
Wow.
Hey, whatever,
Wow.
It's a new year, okay?
There you go. Something
Add
borrowed,
some
something blue.
sparkle
I don't know.
to your day.
Not the Billy Mays commercial. Add some sparkles to your day with this blue egg.
Good
Why are you
Lord.
so blue with your blue egg? Wow, wow,
So
wow,
if anyone's
wow,
confused, remember I told you to go back to part 1 and listen. It'll make a little more sense.
wow. You'll have that cocktail I was drinking.
Gina, how come you never did anything else on Food Network? Oh, because I had Christain on the show when I talked about a vibrator. That's
Wait,
why.
my fault? Okay.
What? No, not your fault. I just, I was like, whatever. I'll just say whatever I want.
Wait. Hurts.
I'm sorry.
So let's talk about your restaurants that you've had, like some of your history and your business ventures. We talked about TV, talk about performing. Tell us a little bit about some of tell us about your entrepreneurial side. Let's go there.
Let's see here. We went to David Copperfield, like back in the beginning of time. So I was the co-founder and chef of Boomtown Biscuits and Whiskey out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Opened in 2018 in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it was a biscuit-focused, brunch-centric whiskey bar and restaurant. And I opened it with my best friend and business partner at the time, PJ Newman. And then, it was kind of crazy because in the process of opening Boomtown, I literally flew out to go film Guys Grocery Games. My first episode on Guys Grocery Games that I won, I flew out to film that the week the week that we were opening the restaurant, and then I flew home on a red eye and opened the restaurant, like the grand opening for the restaurant. So that kind of
That's
was
crazy.
just became kind of tradition at the point because it happened with my second Boomtown as well, where I flew out. I was gone for a month to film the Netflix show, and then flew home and on a red eye and literally opened that restaurant too. So I had the first restaurant, and then my business partner friend PJ died at the beginning of 2020 in January.
So sad.
Sorry.
And we adapt and adjust. And I adapted and adjusted, and I decided to take on the restaurant on my own. And then COVID happened. That was fun. It was like everything that could happen to a restaurateur happened to me in the span of like 6 months.
Ugh.
So that was painful. But then I was a dum-dum, decided to open a second Boomtown in the middle of the pandemic. And so dum-dum, and I did. And then so we persevered through 2020, through the initial, ridiculousness of the pandemic with Boomtown 1, opened the second one, started working on like a slider joint called the Mighty Slider Bar, which is like a slider shake joint in northern Cincinnati. And it still hasn't come to fruition at this point, but it's fine. I had the first two, and on top of that, a lot of consulting and more TV appearances just in between all of the smattering of restaurants. And then my first restaurant, First Boomtown, closed officially in July of 2022. And just, it just wasn't sustainable anymore. I actually had attempted to close it in January of 2022 and was met with a great resistance. So there's a lot of community support to try to keep it open. But in the end, like I departed in January of 2022 and started to pursue kind of my own path separate of the restaurant. It continued to stay open, but then it closed officially in July. And the Union location, the second Boomtown, I believe is still open to this day, but I'm no longer affiliated with it. So it's not my own. It's under new ownership, and that happens. We open
Yeah.
restaurants, and we just figure out that maybe we're just not on the same page. Maybe we just have different vibes in terms of investors and chefs. Uh, and here we are. So I've been with Spiceology since March of 2022, and basically Spiceology is a spice company out of the Pacific Northwest that creates all of its own spice blends in house, grind everything fresh stateside. Everything is super, super, super fresh and super urban spice forward, as opposed to just salt and sugar. I like to say it's all thriller, no filler, unless it needs to be. Um, and then amidst that, I've just
Uh,
Spiceology and doing some consultation work as well as private chefing for like Bengals players. I've been doing that. Had Joe Burrow ate a bunch of my gumbo. He seems to, it's like his favorite in town. Um,
That's
nice.
amazing.
it's a lot of fun. That was the first time he had it, and I was just like, I don't fangirl much, but I was just standing in the corner of the kitchen, just like, it was great. There's all this food. I made all of this food, and he literally was just hovering around the gumbo pot all night. It was dope. It was a dope time. So, but yeah, that's,
Oh, I'm sure it's got to be nice to see
That's
that.
kind of amazing, right?
oh yeah.
So you're not in Kentucky. So you're in Ohio now, fully.
I live in northern Kentucky, but I still I live a quarter mile away from Cincinnati. The river is out my window, basically.
Oh, okay, okay. So I was like super fucking bad at social studies and geography, so clearly none of that makes any sense. What airport do you fly into? And that's how I know where you
What
are.
aircraft? Cincinnati International, but it's located in Covington, Kentucky.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
because
Yeah, that's got to be well. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's
No.
confusing.
Yeah, that's like flying into Dulles, but it's not Washington, D.C.
Yep.
Or
Got it.
flying
Got it.
into Reagan National and it's in DC and it's listed as DCA and it's not in DC either. It's in Virginia.
Here's a fun, wait a minute. I got a fun little fact for you. That is, in fact, District of Columbia. The address for,
It used to be.
my friends still have a office over there. It's the District of Columbia at Reagan National or whatever it is.
Oh, the airport itself?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the
that's
zip code
interesting,
is
considering-
DC.
Huh.
Isn't that weird? I
Yeah,
know,
because
it's
you get off
fucked
of the
up.
Virginia highway to get there.
You
So
have to go over the bridge. You have to go over the Potomac River.
yeah.
Some weird ass shit.
I will say I was okay at social studies. I don't understand where you all live. There's a bunch of rivers and swampy, Potomac-y stuff over there, like just tributaries and all that. I don't understand. Whenever I'm in Virginia,
It's called the government, Christian. It's called the government. Swampy tributaries. Okay? The government is fucked up and they're trying to take away everything that everybody made good in this country all in the next fucking year. So here's my PSA for today. You better fucking vote, people, because you're going to be real upset with the outcomes when you were just complaining. Just vote.
Always vote.
Anyway.
It doesn't matter what time of year it is.
Yeah.
Beginning, we got some things, things happen.
Always vote.
But you can vote even at the lowest level. Lowest sounds wrong, but even in the smallest, in your
Local
smallest parts
elections
of it.
matter
Yep.
more. Local elections matter more. That's
Agree.
it. That's it. All right, I'm done.
Do
We're
your
not going to talk
homework.
about politics. We're going to talk about where Christian is.
So
We are, man. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
we talked about, and everyone knows that. Say, I've been throwing international in between your name as your middle name. You haven't even touched on that.
I mean, which part do you want to touch on? Your lead-in is still vague booking.
Well, you
How
talked
about you
about
say it?
being in
How about you say
Canada.
Yep. So I actually have done a Food Network Canada show called Fire Masters. So I was on Fire Masters season 2 for Food Network Canada. So I like to say that I am international have international acclaim on the TV and international.
Yeah. So what kind of because I wanted you to make sense of the crap that was falling out of my face. So what was that show about?
That show was insane. It was basically like Chopped, but with only grills, smokers, and open fire. So you couldn't cook on a regular stove. You had no regular cooking appliances. You had literally grills, smokers, and an open fire pit. So everything that you had to do had to be centered around those things. Those are the only things you could use. And if you were imparting smoke, you needed to actually impart smoke. If something was charred, like, you need to be charred. Like, it was pretty crazy. And on top of that, they're in Canada, and which means that because they're from Canada, they don't know what American food tastes like, because it's not poutine. And so when you make things like, I love Canada, by the way, huge fan of Canada. I know that was very Trumpy of me to say, I love Canada, huge Trump. They don't taste like China. It's like China. It's just great people. The people over there in Canada, it's just they invented Coca-Cola. That's right. Anyway, but
they love you.
They love me, and they're also very apologetic about everything. Even when they're being shitbirds, they're still like, "Oh, sorry, it's just your bacon was cut too thick." And I'm like, "No, that's called thick cut bacon. It's not ham like what you have here rolled into the form of salami. It's thick cut bacon." And they're, "Oh, sorry, but the bacon was just too thick. We couldn't seem to get around it." I was like, I made a BLT. It was a Southern BLT. I had like fried black kale. I had this awesome charred jalapeno mayo, like aioli. And it was great. Everyone was great. And then they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but it's just too thick cut bacon. It just didn't quite do it." And I was just like, oh, man. But it was fun. It was a fun time. It was really an eye-opening experience. If you ever have an opportunity to go overseas or over, property lines, whatever, it's Canada.
Niagara Falls.
Go over rivers, overseas and rivers, to go to international locations to film. Really and truly study up on what those cultures like to eat, those nationalities, what they eat and how they make things. Because
that's interesting.
Yeah, I tried to do something authentic to me, and it did not translate to the Canadian chefs and the Canadian judges. Like, it just didn't, and it was frustrating because they were like, "Oh no, cook the way you would cook," and I was like, "Okay," and then I did, and then they were like, "No, your bacon's too thick," and I'm like, "No, that's how we eat it downstairs in the party apartment below your old person apartment." But whatever. Fun.
Did a Canadian chef win?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Well,
Oh,
Happened.
it's probably the same. I mean, I don't know.
And you're not gonna win them all, like I said. So.
That's how I feel about Montreal style bagels. They're not a bagel. I'm from New York. Those aren't bagels to me.
What's a Montreal style bagel?
They add honey to it, honey and sugar
into the bagel mix.
And from, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're sweet. They're like a giant sweet, like pretzel. Now, are they good? Yeah, they're good. They're just different. They're sweet.
It's like Montreal steak seasoning.
Which is also weird.
Also, it wasn't.
I don't like it.
Wasn't created in Montreal. It was created by a rival spice company of mine.
What, McCormick?
I didn't say it out loud.
So McCormick, here's a fun fact, is literally in Baltimore County, made in Baltimore County, Maryland.
One of the places it's made.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's a big production thing here, so they make like
that in Chicago.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, I want to talk about Spiceology. Is that okay to talk about that now or not?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to talk about it.
Do it.
So, what are your flavors, Christian? I have some here, but I want you to tell everybody.
So we've got the Maui Wowie. It's one of our signature blends. It's made with real pineapple fruit powder. As you can see here from me holding it at home too, of the Maui. We're not talking about weed or vibrators. We're talking about spices. And so it's made with real pineapple fruit powder. It also has tamari granules, so not soy sauce granules, but tamari granules, sesame seed, chili flake, and then of course paprika, rice hulls. So it's truly like a Hawaiian teriyaki rub or blend. And it's one of my all-time favorites. The more you add, the sweeter it gets because of all that fruit powder. And then we also have our Greek Freak, which is our herbaceous Mediterranean blend. Real citrus peel in there, super herbaceous from all the oregano, the parsley, and that sea salt flake as well. Like it's super urban spice forward. Like I said, we still use salt and sugar at Spiceology, but they're more accentuations. They highlight all of those fresh herbs, fresh spices, that citrus peel, and allow all of the spices to do all the talking instead of just making you pucker up and wish you had another glass of wine. Not saying you shouldn't have another glass of wine, just saying Spiceology, it's, all thriller, no filler. Yeah.
Too much.
And those are your two flavors?
Those are my two of my go-to flavors. I think another one of my super fun fancy ones would also be the Derek Wolf beer-infused jalapeno lime pilsner. The beer-infused jalapeno lime pilsner is dope. It is beer-infused, and like we actually put nitrous in the can, so when you crack it, it does the just like a can of beer. It makes grill dads and smoker moms are just like, oh boy, and then they show the friends, and everybody goes crazy, and then they all get drunk and forget about the food on the grill. But it's real good. Real good. Wow, Christian. It's really, really, really quite fantastic. You can use it as like a dusting on potato chips or popcorn. You also could use it in like if you wanted to make a crema out of it. Just take like 1 part sour cream, 1 part lime juice, and then 2 parts, like 2 tablespoons of the actual dust itself. Mix all that together. Give it a little bit of lime, a little bit more lime, a little bit of cilantro, a little bit of honey. You've got this wonderful crema with this like beer infused rub. It just like I would like to say that we go beyond the grill. Like we're not just a barbecue rub company or a spice company. So everything that we do is meant for counterculture, things that we want you to have on your kitchen counter and use all the time.
I love that. Is Spiceology ever going to be available in the stores? You're going to have to always order it online.
No, Spiceology is 1,000% available in stores. We actually are available in Sur La Table and from a limited offering there. We also are in your local hardware store, your Ace Hardware, your True Value, maybe even a Do It Best. So your hardware co-ops. You can find us in Sportsman's Warehouse, as well as like being able to find us. Yeah, you can find us on like direct to consumer, like on our website, spiceology.com. Order there as well. We have some products on Amazon if that's more of your shtick. So we're everywhere. We're just sprinkled in. We're sprinkled in. Yeah.
Gina, you made that face when he said hardware stores. That's what when he told me that when I was talking to him, I was like, what? One of my favorite stores is Ace Hardware. I love to go in there because there's crazy things in there. You just never know. Like they always have the big eggs, and the Yeti everything, and that's why I go to get my Myers soap. And but when he said that, I had the same reaction you did, which was like hardware store. But yeah,
they got real big into the grill game.
Well, it's smart though, right? When you think about it, it is super smart. I mean, I was inspired. That's what I inspired to make our cocktail today. Was from the Maui Wowie, right?
Oh, you got all wowie with the Maui.
Mm-hmm. I did like that. So did you invent, so is that your spice blend, those two that you mentioned, the Greek and the Maui Wowie, right?
No, those aren't my specific blends.
No, they're not. Okay.
No. I do have one.
What is it?
It's called...
Is it out yet?
It's out. Well, it's sort of out. It's called Christain Gill's 12 Herbs and Spices.
That's cool. Is it from Spiceology as well?
Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
It's called, Christain Gill's 12 Herbs and Spices. It's the proprietary blend of herbs and spices that I use for my fried chicken and catfish. So it's like it's a good all-purpose seasoning, but it's specifically meant for like frying foods. So you would add like 4 tablespoons of the dry mix with like a quarter cup of flour. And then there's your dry mix for your dredge for like chicken or for fish, whatever. And then you would take like half cup of buttermilk and a quarter cup of spices. There's your brine to marinate your chicken or marinate all your fish in. So it's chef's kiss.
See that's the one everybody wants. I've seen you cook like right next to me. Literally, this man can fucking fry and grill everything. Everything. Name it. Just fry it and grill it. Like, done. Like, not even like an issue. Me, I should not be allowed to use a fryer. Only for latkes. Only for latkes. And calamari. But although the one, of course, the judge had one piece of calamari that was stuck together. Like, all your calamari is stuck together. Like, it is not all stuck together. It was one fucking piece. Anyway. Let's talk about, let's take a drink. Is that okay, Louise? Can we make a drink?
Absolutely.
All right. So, if you haven't listened to episode 1, you need to go back up and you have to learn how to make the P-Mix. The P-Mix is a blend of orange, lemon, pineapple, thyme, and sage. And you know what we're going to do is we're going to actually scoop this. I'm serving this warm. And we are going to put this into a glass, and we're going to use a pinch of our Maui Wowie in here because it's just really delicious. And if you make the same day, you can use the fruit. If you're not going to use the same day, you strain it off and just use the liquid, and you can drink it hot or cold. And I like making this batch, like a lot of it, and then I just have it on hand and I'll just drink it. And it's like a feel good, just like a feel good kind of thing. And then you're going to add 1 ounce of tequila to it, and if you want, or you can drink this non-alcoholic. And you know what? It is January. I do participate in dry-ish January. Like if it's a good party, I'm not gonna not drink. But if I'm not going to anything really good in January, other than New Year's Eve, I will stay dry.
Just kind of roll it back a little bit. That's all.
So you add 1 ounce of tequila, not too much. So it's 1 ounce to every 6 ounces of your mix. And then you're going to add just a little pinch. And by I mean a pinch, like a pinch of the mix. And then you're just going to give it a stir. And that is it.
See, you stay dry. Meanwhile, I'm over here. I'll add enough tequila to stay moist. So that's just how I roll.
It's so good. And you can let this sit. Like, this is one of those things I'm telling you. Make a batch this at home. Put it in your refrigerator. Start drinking it. Pineapple is an amazing, gorgeous, antioxidant, delicious, so good for you, packed with vitamins. Get into pineapple again. Find pineapple again in your life. Like, just get into it.
Considering it's January, I know this is scary, but could you use frozen pineapple? As long as it's just like fresh frozen?
Yeah, so I started making this tea when because I like the core, you can't really gnaw on, the core of a pineapple. You're like, although you go to all of these different catering places where you buy like fruit at like, grocery store, like a fruit platter, and they leave the fucking core in there like it's a thing. You take the core out. Don't eat the core, but make tea with the core because that's awesome use of it.
This is delicious. This is, like you said, cold or hot. I have it warm. It'd be really good. This is lovely.
Yeah, I drink this, I drink it warm, or like I said, I just put it in your refrigerator. Also, keeping that kind of stuff, using, the ends and the dregs and stuff into making different, teas or juicing it, you get a lot of vitamins out of that kind of stuff. And, and you're also not wasting it. I hate the waste.
Yep.
Exactly. God, you know how long it takes to grow a pineapple? How many people tend to your pineapples? And then you just toss it. You know what I mean? I find it fascinating where your food comes from and how long, how much water, how much care. Like a dozen eggs. I have chickens, right? I talk about that all the time. It takes so long to get an egg. It's so precious. And, it's amazing. We take it for granted. You go to a grocery store full of food, but the food does have places it comes from, so respect it. And use it all the way.
You're 100% right. Yep.
So the new year.
Want not, waste not, waste not, want not. Yeah.
Waste not,
so where are they going to go to get it, though?
You're going to go to designateddrinker.show for the tips, tricks, how-to, and the recipe to make this wonderful New Year elixir. New you. Inspired by Christain.
Exactly. Inspired by. And then you could always just scroll into your episode notes to get those links directly. We'll definitely have links to getting to Spiceology. So that way when you are ready to make your Maui Wowie cocktail, it's going to be there for you.
And then when you have all of that
Wow.
leftover Maui Wowie blend, you can make a pineapple fried rice out of it.
Ooh.
Recipe is on kitsch.com or spiceology.com. You can find it there too. Gina and I got you on both sides of the field.
Yum. Yeah, that's a good. I want to have
That does sound good.
Let me make you some.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of doing a biscuit pop up, you want a fried rice pop up, Gina?
I still want the biscuit pop up, but I want to eat fried rice with you late
I was
night
gonna
for
say
sure.
we could do late night fried rice pop up called Ratchet Rice and just play trap music the whole night.
Done. Sold.
Ratchet rice.
You're gonna bring that trap to DC, and they're gonna come for you.
So,
they're gonna be like, oh, that's not the kind of music we listen to in DC. But all right, we're in.
Whatever. You know what? I'm from the South, so just got to bring a little Southern with me. If I'm gonna bring biscuits, I'm gonna bring some beets.
I'm ready, Christian. I told you we missed the date. We will announce one in 2023. You know, to stay tuned. And that we'll do something this coming in the next coming months, hopefully.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's January now, so like hopefully we'll get something by spring or early summer.
Spring sounds like it
works.
could work for, I mean, unless, Gina, you're just too busy being a champion on the next couple shows. So.
Oh gosh, we have a lot going on. We have a new restaurant coming. It's very busy. It's busy time.
When's it not?
Is it ever not busy for you though,
exactly,
Gina?
Yeah.
I know. I don't know. I keep adding to my plate. Everyone's like, aren't you busy enough? I'm like, I guess I'm not. Because I'm always like, oh, I'll just do this.
How dare you judge me for being busy and you, madam, stay busy.
It's crazy. I don't know what it is. I feel like they have more Buffalo and Bergen to give people. So I want to keep giving it. I'm like, that's it. And I concentrate on I stay in my playing field, late night bars and bagels. I'm okay with that.
The bagel lady.
Yes, the bagel lady. And she also likes to let it loose at last call.
This is the bagel lady. I like the bagel lady.
All right, Gina, I think it's time. I think this one's you. Start it off.
Oh, that's right. All right, Louise, you're saying it's my time to ask him his question. I'm ready. Okay,
do it.
So, Christian, we know that you're, from Kentucky, right? And you live on this Ohio border, which nobody understands because nobody knows what you're talking about. So, in this day and age, everybody identifies themselves with some sort of, mythical or spiritual animal, and they'll be like, I really identify with the Bengal tiger because I love football and it's like my favorite, tiger, whatever, fastest tiger in the world. If you can identify yourself with one ingredient, whether it's for food or for drink, and that would be your spirit ingredient, what would that ingredient be and why?
MSG.
Why?
It's the flavor enhancer. I don't spice up anyone's lives. I just enhance the flavor of their day.
Oh.
Maybe if I had MSG earlier in life, then my marriage would have worked out. But you know what? We live and we learn. I should have sprinkled some MSG on my marriage. But it's okay. Here we are. MSG because everyone sleeps on MSG and everyone sleeps on me quite often. Or everyone slept on me, and then they're just like, oh, like MSG there's a lot of racist undertones to it, and it's misunderstood. I tend to be misunderstood, mostly because my hair is a different color every 3 or 4 months, and people just think that makes me weird. But MSG is actually derived from glutamate, which is natural, sodium also natural. Monosodium glutamate actually exists naturally in things. The umami that comes from Parmesan cheese, that's basically just natural MSG. Seaweed's another one, natural MSG. And so it's like, I am the natural MSG to my friends' lives.
I love that. I totally love that. Although I do not ever, and I want to make this very clear, suggest that anybody ever have an MSG martini.
Okay,
Do not do that.
They did that on, I think, Milk Street, and I was like, what do we do? Like, what? Oh, like, there's times when you can overindulge and go too far. That is one of those times. Don't treat MSG like World of Warcraft or butt stuff. Like, don't do that. Just, you're curious about it. Go all in. Don't listen to. Just go all in. Just go all in.
Okay, then. I don't know where it's going.
Dive in.
Don't do butt stuff with MSG.
Don't do that. Don't do butt stuff with MSG. That stuff can be tasty. It doesn't need MSG to, flavor it up. I don't know where I was going with all that. You cut out what you want. All the pieces are there.
I already love 2023.
All the pieces are there.
Love 2023. Thank you, Christain Gill. I love 2023. This year I will just say whatever I want.
Yep.
That's my resolution is to say whatever I want, not whatever I feel. So there you go. To 2023.
All right. On that note, all we can do is shut it down. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bust up. Woo!
Woo!
Sorry, Louise. I'm sorry.
Good Lord.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. Kim's gonna work her magic.
No way. Keep the butt stuff in there.
The Designated Drinker Show is produced by Missing Link, a podcast media company that is dedicated to connecting people to intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Also in the Missing Link lineup of podcasts is Rodger That, a podcast dedicated to guiding you through the haze of dementia, led by skilled caregivers Bobbi and Mike Carducci. Now, if you're looking for a whole new way to enjoy the theater, check out Between Acts, an immersive audio theater podcast experience. Each episode takes you on a spellbinding journey through the works of newfound playwrights, from dramas to comedies and everything in between. Find Missing Link's League of Podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts. Please don't forget to subscribe, download, and review the shows. Your review helps our shows reach new audiences. To find out more about Missing Link, visit missinglink.company. That's missinglink.company.